I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
This is Snake Envy. So, I haven't seen you in a few days. What's been hatching just over the past maybe 2-3 days?
We've had some Red Bulls. We've had our first San Diegos come out. We've had our first Sonorans come out of the year.
Beautiful.
The most anticipated clutch, the gray banded ghost stuff. So that too.
Any long blotch?
There's some signs of there's better signs of long blotching in this clutch. There's certain head patterning that the long blotches have, and so that tells me that it's in there. And I didn't see that too much last year, but I do see it this year. So good sign.
Encouraging.
Yes.
A quick aside, I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast, and he had this old guy on who's a bat conservationist.
Okay.
And it was really, really interesting. This guy has spent his entire life all over the world. He's a bat biologist. But you know what was really funny and what struck me at one point was to hear this guy talk. He may as well have been talking about snakes.
Oh, they're just passionate like we are.
Well, he's not only just the passion, but the opponents.
Oh.
So as he's describing his interactions with other people, because usually what he's doing is he's responding to something. He lives in Austin, Texas now, because I don't know if you know, but Austin has a bridge downtown that has almost 2 million bats living in it, and they're migratory bats. They go back and they don't know exactly where they go. It's difficult to track. And the Mexican free-tailed bats can literally fly 100 miles an hour if the conditions are right.
Oh wow!
So it's not, they actually use weather radar to try to track them when they take off.
For wind currents or anything like that? Or?
Well, if the wind currents are right, if they have a tailwind, they can get up to 100 miles an hour. That's
what I was meant.
But they use radar to try to track some of their movements, because you might have 1 million bats going out together. So it's just basically a big cloud. But the reason he moved to Austin was because the city of Austin was debating eradicating all the bats, and they were being convinced by pest control companies and by other activists that if you don't get rid of these bats, we're going to have rabies epidemics, and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. So this guy came in and quickly was able to change everyone's minds and say, number one, the rabies stuff is completely overblown. Don't worry about that. Number two, he would go around. It reminded me of our urban snakes, because he would go around with live bats and just show people.
Educate them.
Yeah, have you actually ever seen one? And a few influential people spent some time with his bats, and they were like, why are we afraid of these things?
Well, like anything, like sharks, like bears.
Yeah, spiders. Tarantula. It's coming up on tarantula season.
People I hate how social media, bugs the crap out of me, how all these species of animal are out to kill us.
Right. Right.
No. They're not.
No, most of them, and 90% of people in the world will never experience any of them close up. But I was just smiling the whole time I was watching it, because it's a lot like our urban snakes, where we show up. I'll post a video in the description, but we show up with snakes on a street corner downtown just randomly, and we draw a crowd, and you watch people's reactions over 30 to 60 minutes, and then the beginning, it's whoa, 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 snakes, and they're trying to go around, and then one of their friends hangs back, and then the next thing you know, they've been there for an hour, and they're
holding a snake.
Can I hold a bigger one? Can I hold the big one? So they graduate from small snake to big snake by the time they leave.
It's pretty neat.
And it's pretty neat to watch. Because like you say, the animals are the best ambassadors. If people just experience these things up close, they're impressed with how beautiful they are, how calm they are. And
they're not out to get us.
They're not trying to bite us and do all that. But it was so funny listening to this guy talk about the opponents that he deals with. And he may as well have been talking about snakes. Everybody wants them gone.
Yeah.
Everybody wants them dead.
Fear.
Everybody's convinced. And he had the best quote. He said, Joe Rogan asked him, he said, well, why are people so afraid of them? And he said, we fear what we don't understand. And so if people can just see them and interact with them and have a couple of the myths dispelled, like the rabies thing and all that. He's like, very few bats have rabies. But I was just struck by it because we experience it firsthand when we get to show snakes to people, and they melt, once they see them up close. But this guy may as well have been talking about snakes. It was actually pretty funny. If you had just substituted snakes for bats in just about anything he said, it was spot on.
Nice.
All right, let's take a look at what's hatching. We have very little hatching right at this moment, but we'll show you what's hatched over the last few days. Those gophers,
let's go.
Gray bands, bulls. Finally some bulls.
Gophers. All right, we have a clutch of San Diegos, our first San Diegos of the year. This is from an albino stripe to a striped normal, but they're het. The females, they're both stripes, so you get striping. You're going to get albinos, T positives, and aneries, snows out of this. So
perfect.
And there's a couple nice ones in here.
Ah, such variety.
Disturb this guy too much, but I love the striped snows. Striped T-nags.
Not quite all the way out yet.
Yeah.
So this is a snow.
Yep. Got her all pissed.
What about over here?
That's a snow. That's a...
Two snows.
It's a striped, but it's a blotched and striped. Well, you get both in one. See the striping down the sides, and then the row of blotches down the middle of the two stripes.
Wow.
Because everything's striped in here.
Obviously got
albino. They're a little. Look at these little.
Over here.
Look at these little arrowheads. Like they want to get you.
Might go for the camera. And then obviously we have a normal over here, normal striped.
And I don't know why it was buried in there. Buried in the.
A little shy.
You got them all riled up. Look at all these.
Always fun to see.
Look at these pit vipers.
Oh, took a swipe at me and then made a run for it. You're too pretty to be so mean. Look at that head flattened out.
I had some really neat bulls hatch this week. It was part of an experimental project.
Let's go take a look.
This is the one that came out this morning. Look at that. Let's get out in the light. Wow. You get another striker, but look how the darkness on this bull snake. Look how black the blotches are all the way through, head to tail.
That is amazing contrast.
Look at the red coloration. This thing hasn't shed yet.
Wow.
So this is a result. 3 years ago, I bred a Kankakee bull to a Hannon hypo. The father is one of those results of that baby, or that breeding. I bred this is an albino. The mother of this is an albino red bull.
Wow. So how many hets is this guy carrying?
It's only possible het. Well, it's 100% albino. It's 50% Hannon hypo. But if you get the hypo to show up with these dark blotches, you're going to have some deep purples. Now, if you get an albino, what are you going to get? Extreme white and red contrast.
Wow.
White, orange, red, whatever. But these will produce some of the best looking red albinos.
Very nice.
And it's outcrossed.
Wow. On that angle right there, the red is really popping in the light. And like you say, that's what.
And reds are ugly ducklings. These are ugly. Wait till they grow into the red.
Yeah.
So these are going to be stellar, in my opinion.
Wow.
And a very healthy outcrossed animal.
without a doubt. What else?
Here's another little one of those ones out of that clutch. Not as red. Definitely going more blue, but look at the darkness. That's what you care about.
Yeah, that contrast is going to be amazing.
And then some just, I know they're just albinos, but
Just albinos.
but still pretty. This is our first Sonoran. Let's go over in the light a little bit. This, to me, that is a hypo. That coloration resembles a hypo. Looks very much like a Trumbauer hypo, although this is a Sonoran. This is a the results. This is a triple het, so it's a result from breeding a rusty meeker to a whiteside. So there's your genetics. Rusty, meeker, whiteside. Extremely rare, outcrossed. This will produce stuff that hasn't ever been produced before.
Really? So next generation.
The next, like, and I'll have stuff. I have this stuff already in adults, but like, so next year we'll see some new morphs. Hopefully. Well, we're getting rowdy. This is a ghost. It's in the blue, so it's not looking super sharp. But this is a Stillwater hypo comboed with a Miami County Xanthic. You want to do the
backflip, little attitude.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have got attitude today. I don't know why.
We love that from bulls.
We'll show you what a hypo looks like out of this too.
Is that it?
Yeah, they're heavily into the blue. They're usually much prettier, but
So
that patterning is very indicative of the Stillwater hypo. The round circles,
yeah,
blotches.
Stillwater for sure. Now the heads on some of these tend to go green, correct?
Yeah, this one looks like it might get
Yeah,
that
it looks
waxy.
like it's got, yeah.
You can tell it has a certain look. But these are, yeah, these are still.
And gray bands.
Let's go look at some gray bands. And the first hypo alternaphases I've done, and they're freaking really cool looking. There's so many colors that these cameras don't pick up. There's pinks and purples.
Yeah.
Look at the head.
Between the stripes.
That blue.
Between the stripes toward the tail, you can see that purplish color. And then, yeah, more pink toward the top.
Mm.
And what I love about these is Alterna, like so many other kings, usually have really busy head patterns. And a lot of these hypos and anneries, they're coming out with clean heads.
We got a lot of different looks here, and we'll just go through a few of them because they're so variable. And they're unfortunately they're in shed, but this is just a alternaphase, a super busy one, a very pretty animal. But we had some really speckly stuff too. A silverback, I don't know what to call this. Like,
Wow. That runs the full length.
it's like it washes it out. Like, even these blotches back here are just, they're,
So it's almost the appearance of like mosaic.
have you seen those Chaos River roads?
Cow Kings? I haven't, but
That reminds me of.
the mosaic Cow Kings where all the pattern is on the side instead
Oh,
of down
yeah.
the back.
I mean, it's got blotches. They're just filled in.
Yeah.
They're just,
They show
They're
up
just
a little
washed.
better back by the tail, but they're very washed out
yeah,
elsewhere.
very neat looking snake.
Wow, without a doubt.
Here's a hypo, a really beautiful one.
Wow.
Now these will shed out and be prettier. We'll get updated pics and video as that happens. This is the ghost.
Oh, the ghost.
Look how feisty these little guys are. This is what makes them good feeders. This feistiness. This anery. This thing is just...
The typical pattern is almost gone. It's just all speckled.
It's such an odd looking thing. Look at that silver plate on the head.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was the one that blew my mind there. And see the head patterning? It's got the heart shape on the head.
Yeah,
it's got the longish blotch up here.
Yep.
The head patterning is indicative of the long blotch genetics.
Yeah, that first blotch is definitely a
and
little
so this is a
longer than
good
normal.
one to probably keep back, even though it's not a morph. It will. There's two of these, and if they're the opposite sex, they would be very good to put together to
and
get some
nice
long
little heart on the head
with love. Here's a nice freaking Blair's hypo. Gosh.
That is really pretty. And again, kind of, maybe it's the lighting, but hints of purple.
Well, when these shed out, they're just going to be even more so.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them shed.
What a neat head stamp. Look at that little blotch on the head. Their defensive posture, like, it makes them really good feeders. Last year, I think 60% ate first try.
Wow.
Which is unheard of. Which I have tricks for,
Yeah.
So, but pretty good.
Yeah, but to have to avoid tricks on 60% of them,
Oh.
that's huge.
Yeah.
And that just gets them to market all that much sooner for the ones that you're going to sell. I know some of these are going to be held back, but you held back a bunch last year too.
Most of these will be for sale.
Yeah,
Most of them.
Yeah, you may have some tough decisions to make
I need a boy.
one this year versus last year, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I really just need to keep back a boy. So.
All right, so an interesting story with these eggs we just put away. You and I got a pair of normal African house snakes, capes, from Bushveld last year. And they are normals, but they are het for blue eye, which looks very similar to leucistic, and hypo. So if both of those pan out, that's great. That's going to give us a lot more variety in terms of the house snakes that we currently have, which are limited to albinos. And we can outcross with the male and the female over time as well, to help kind of refresh the genetics of the original pair you have. But this is interesting because I was cohabbing this young pair, which are about a year and a half old. And the plan was to not do that for very long and then move the female into an enclosure with one of the albino females that I've got. And lo and behold, she dropped a clutch of 5 eggs here in the spring. So let's just say they can breed much earlier than, that we prefer to do in captive breeding. They're capable of breeding very young.
Yeah.
And now, this morning, those 5 eggs, because of my inexperience, I tried to keep them at my place. And my wife and I thought it'd be fun just to see those through. And with my inexperience, I got worried about condensation on the lid of the tub, and I started messing with things too much and trying to make it perfect. And I think what I did is I should have just left them alone because they were doing great. We had candled them a couple times and could see the embryos. Everything was fantastic. And then the more I messed with it, trying to kind of perfect the situation, I killed them. So my inexperience. So we lost those 5 eggs. But I wake up this morning to 6 more. Now, you have told us before, double clutching and even triple clutching, very common with this species.
Well, and this is why you probably don't want to cohab until they're up to size, or
females,
or same sex cohabbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because you obviously don't want to breed them too early. But
no, just because they're capable of it, it's not ideal. I feel bad for this poor girl because she's still fairly small, and now she's laid 2 clutches of eggs.
I mean, this probably happens in the wild. I mean, I guarantee it does. So
yeah,
but yeah, I would.
We'll give her the next year off, and
so
and go back to the original
lesson learned, right?
Lesson learned. Yeah, they can breed early. Now, it's probably true for all kinds of snake species.
I know hognose will do this. Yeah.
So she's cohab now with a female. They'll be together here long term, but yeah, good to know the male's fertile. Good to know she's fertile.
And hopefully pan out on the hats.
If these, I guess the bonus is that we're a couple years early on potentially seeing if these hets pan out. So I guess that's, it's good, but man, she was so exhausted this morning. I actually thought she was dead, and I felt so bad that she's so young and going through this twice. But
well,
lesson learned. Lesson learned. Separate them earlier than you think you need to. All right, so what do we have hatching?
We have some bull snakes. We have some gray-banded kings from the special project. Some Great Basin gophers. Got a few things.
Let's take a look.
Let's do it. And these are Great Basins. These are double het for albino and anery. So, I mean, they're just normals, but they're outcrossed. They're beautiful, healthy animals.
Wow, very clean patterns. Still pretty even when they're normal. And good hets.
Yep, perfect. Okay, this is probably the most anticipated clutch of the year. These two, there's 2 of these gray-banded clutches, but look at this thing we got out.
Oh, we got one pippin.
But look at that.
Now we obviously have something going on up here in the corner. Wow. Now, is this considered hypo or?
I think this is an anery.
An anery. Okay.
Yeah. It's very different than the ones last year. Like even this normal one here is very typical. Like, it's last year we didn't get any that looked too much like that. So it's kind of neat to see variability.
Yeah, you can see the hints of orange in those saddles, but man, very cool.
And the speckling, that's neat.
And I mean, granted, it's pre-shed and all of that, but the colors almost look a little muted on this normal, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's an indicator. Like sometimes when you get that faded orange, that's an indicator of hypo. It's a visual het is kind of what we're getting to.
Even the gray looks washed out just a smidge. Now we'll see. Once it sheds, maybe it looks more normal. But very cool. We're excited about gray bands this year.
We have some more. This is another clutch. They're just poking out. Heads are poking out, so.
More gray bands. Man, such anticipation. What's in there? Can you tell anything from the heads?
It's hard to tell, but maybe this one. That's a hypo right there.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very nice.
So, look at this head coming out. It's really clean.
Yeah.
We'll see what it looks like in a few days.
Man, they are famous for their head markings, and this one's very
That's
clean.
striking right there. I love that head.
Wow.
Just 2 little freckles on top.
Yeah, very clean.
And then there should be some bullseye in here. Let's see. 2 ghosts.
Nice. Exciting. This is what we've been looking forward to. We've been looking forward to bulls, and we've been looking forward to gray bands. Good to know the bulls are starting to roll.